My name is Narelda Jacobs. I'm a Whadjuk Noongar woman from Boorloo, Perth, living and working on Gadigal country of the Eora Nation. Drove to Canberra after work this afternoon. Incidentally, I work at Channel 10, where I am the presenter of the midday news and a co-host of Studio 10.
Yuma, Galaganya Jelena Walker, Darawa Nona Darawa Nonawool. Hello, my name is Selena Walker and this is Ngunnawal Country. I'd like to first start by acknowledging my elders, the Ngunnawal elders, and pay respect to my elders past, present and future. I'd also like to acknowledge the recent passing of my grandmother, Auntie Agnes Shea, who was the most senior Ngunnawal elder here. I want to acknowledge any other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people that are with us here this evening. Welcome my brothers, sisters, aunts and uncles. I'd like to extend that to all of our non-Indigenous friends that have joined us. Welcome. The Ngunnawal community are the traditional custodians of Canberra and the region. You may not be aware that the Ngunnawal Nation is made up of several family groups and not just individuals who represent this country. Therefore, as a community, we have an elected body known as the United Ngunnawal Elders Council to represent us, along with the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander elected body of the ACT. This is important for you to understand and acknowledge, for our identity is a collective identity. There are other Indigenous and non-Indigenous people from around the nation, the country and the world who've come to live on Ngunnawal land. I would like to acknowledge and welcome you all. The tradition of welcoming the people to country is a practice that was handed down by our ancestors, old people and elders from the beginning of time. Before entering another person's country, you would first announce your arrival and not enter until the traditional owner formally welcomed you. The reason for this practice was to protect your spirit whilst another person's country and also to show respect for the country of which you were entering. It's wonderful to see that this practice is now recognised and respected. I suppose it's not like entering into someone's home unless you're first invited. The Ngunnawal people, as within all Aboriginal people, have a great heritage that we'd like to share with all Australians from every walk of life. As you are aware, Canberra means meeting place. And Canberra has been a place of gathering for many Aboriginal tribes of Australia to come together to deal with important business and also for ceremonial purposes. Our Ngunnawal ancestors believed in the importance of people gathering to build relationships, share knowledge and to celebrate the gift of heritage and history. We believe it's important for all to recognise our unique history and to gain an understanding that our land is our heritage and how loss of the land has disconnected so many Aboriginal people from their spiritual links, cultural heritage and identity. Reconciliation is not just a word, it is an action, and it's a human rights movement. As an Aboriginal person in this country, I've only been counted as a human being for 56 years. Let me repeat that while that sinks in. I, as a beautiful black Aboriginal person in Australia, have only been counted as a human being for 56 years. I'm only 42. We are very young in our reconciliation journey, but we're on the right path. By incorporating proper cultural protocols like welcome to country, smoking ceremonies, etc., we're on the road to true reconciliation. It does hurt me though that my dad was born a tree, that my grandmother was a mother before she was a human being. I ask you to take a moment and think about how old you are, how old your children are, and how old your elders are, and what you're doing to contribute to the reconciliation human rights movement. The upcoming referendum is another milestone in our reconciliation journey. I'm not going to try and sway your vote either way, but I will say this. If we change nothing, nothing is going to change. If we change nothing, nothing is going to change. I want change. This is a time for change, an opportunity for change. I'm tired of burying my people. This is not a campaign. This is not an election. This is not about who has the best ideas. This is a vote for First Nations justice. I stand on the shoulders of giants. I want to honour those giants. 65% of Australians have never met an Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander person. What are we doing wrong? And yet these people are going to be voting to determine my fate. One would say, shame on you. So go out and get informed. I encourage you all to go get your questions answered, get your concerns addressed. So come the 14th of October, we can all go to that ballot and vote to make a truly informed decision for the future of this country with no regrets. That's the difference. If you don't know, don't vote no. go out and get informed if you don't know. That's just basic logic. So thank you once again. I know that gets a little bit heavy, and every time I say it, I do see heads go down. That's okay. It's those tough conversations that need to be had to make change. Remembering that your single vote is not just about where you're from. Your single vote is going to impact the Western Australian mob. It's going to impact Northern Territory mob, Tasmanian mob, my mob here. So make sure you find out about what's happening in those communities and how your single vote, whichever way you decide, can also help to make change. So thank you once again. I'll now finish in the words of my people, the Ngunnawal people. Yumalandi Yunanga Yerebu Yangu, which means you may leave footprints on our land now. Or in other words, welcome to country. Thank you very much.
Well, it gives me great pleasure now to welcome to you the Synergy Group CEO, Rob Kennedy, to also give you some words of welcome. Please make Rob very welcome.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this very special event. And thank you, Selena, for such a warm and meaningful welcome to country, and a very strong message for us all to take home tonight. It is. I was just talking to a few people on the side just before there about when you print out your notes in 14-point font, so you can read them without wearing your glasses, and then turn up and have to wear your glasses. So if it's the lighting, but it is just such an enormous privilege to be able to hold this event here with representation from the Ngunnawal community, who are the traditional custodians of Canberra. We're so privileged to be able to live here in Canberra amongst the amazing bush capital. As a third generation Canberran, I'm very proud of this city and region, and proud to call myself a Canberran. However, it is only through the thanks to the land conservation practices of the Ngunnawal people for thousands of years that we're able to enjoy living in such a beautiful city, in such beautiful surrounds, and hold events like Floriade here. So I would like to acknowledge that we are meeting on the land of the Ngunnawal people today, and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. And I would like to extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples who are here with us today. Now, in this fantastic facility that we're in today, we have some very special guests who have joined us today. So I'd just like to pay a special mention to our Minister for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Affairs, Rachel Stephen-Smith, thank you. Minister Shane Rattenbury, the ACT Greens leader and Attorney General. I met before, I've lost Shane now. Shane, thank you. To our wonderful charity partners that we're raising money for throughout Floriade, Roundabout Canberra and the Indigenous Marathon Foundation. We've got a number of our clients from the Australian Public Service here today, so welcome to Karen Mundy, the Reconciliation Australia CEO, and the Head of Communications, Liz Willis, and representatives from Supply Nation and TEDx Canberra. We also have with us and joined us today a whole host of other like-minded organisations who have prepared reconciliation action plans and are coming with us on this reconciliation journey. Part of this event, allows us to bring like-minded organisations together who are committed to reconciliation in this region and beyond. And we at Synergy certainly look forward and welcome the opportunities to collaborate on our reconciliation journeys. I'll get a few more of the thank yous out of the way. Wallumbimby and her band, beautiful way to kick off the event, and we're going to hear a little bit more from that to come. And of course to our amazing MC, Narelda Jacobs, who's, as I say, jumped off the midday news to drive down here through hail in the middle of Goulburn, as I understand it. Rain, snow, hail, desert, anything she could do to get here. And of course, you're about to hear from our esteemed panellist, Professor Tom Calma, Selena Walker, Sarah Burr and Rob D. Costella. I'm really looking forward to hearing their perspectives and taking some learnings away from this evening and we really want to thank them for their time and contribution. The theme of this evening is about heart-based leadership. You know, it's such a, and it's a personal honour to have this opportunity this morning to hear from our MC and panellists on how we can all embrace heart-based leadership to harness togetherness, connection, and compassion. So what does this mean for me? Leading from the heart means asking the question of every decision and every action that we take, whether it be in our personal lives or in our professional lives, to test that question or action against, are we doing the right thing? Some time ago, I can refer, I read a good book by Richard Dawkins called The God Delusion, and it ostensibly was examining, what was behind the human race's fascination with religion in its various forms over the various ages, and it explored a number of philosophical concepts, but one of the ones that grabbed me was some of the evidence-based research that proved that whatever your heritage, whatever your religion, whatever your creed, colour or race, that every human being in the human species innately understands right from wrong. And an example that it used in there was, and they tested this across, as I say, a broad spectrum, that every adult innately knew that it was wrong to indiscriminately hit a child, that it was wrong for the strong to use their power to oppress those less strong for their own benefit. And so in that very simple test across any religion, any country, any colour or creed, that human beings understand right from wrong. So applying this, to the present day, where we are today, to our collective reconciliation journeys that we're on, and the Voice to Parliament vote that's coming up, I urge you to, we all need to harness the wisdom of others, recognise that we don't have all the answers, recognise that collective intelligence is more powerful than your own individual expertise. So go out and talk to people. We need to actively listen to the voices, stories and lived experiences of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. And we need to have a genuine willingness to understand and appreciate their unique challenges, their strengths, their aspirations. And then ask yourself, then in all the actions that we take on our disparate reconciliation journeys and in casting our vote on the 14th of October, all I can urge you to do is do the right thing. And this is what we're continuing to commit to across the Synergy Group through our reconciliation journey and in our ongoing connection to community. On that note, I'd look forward to a rigorous and thought-provoking discussion tonight. And again, thank you all for being here. I want to take a moment just to thank our fantastic Synergy Floriade event team who have who have worked tirelessly to put on this great event, assembled a fantastic set of speakers for us to listen to. And with the upcoming referendum, it's crucial that we all take the time tonight to listen to these perspectives amongst our community, to educate ourselves and those around us, as we all have a part to play. So thank you.
So with that, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Sterling Sharp, a proud Awabakal descendant and IMF's Indigenous Ambassador and Corporate Runner, to warm us up for the panel discussion that we're about to have, which also includes the founder of IMF. And Sterling's going to share a few words on his experience as an ambassador for IMF. Please welcome Sterling.
Thank you, everybody, and I'd just like to acknowledge the Ngunnawal people as well. My name is Sterling Sharp. I'm an Awabakal man, and I've been here on Ngunnawal land since 2010. It's absolutely beautiful land. I love just escaping into the hills, into nature, and seeing everything that there is to see around this. Unfortunately, we get caught up in our busy lives and we don't get to connect with nature enough. So when we do, it's really important that we do take that opportunity and really just consider how long this land has been cared for by the traditional custodians. Tonight I've been asked to talk to you about the Indigenous Marathon Foundation, a foundation that I'm on the board of, and our flagship program, the Indigenous Marathon Project. The IMP each year has 6 Indigenous men and 6 Indigenous women who go through a very rigorous 6-month program of education, of leadership development, of qualifications, and of course, some running training. Throughout the month of January and February each year, more than 170 people will apply to become one of the 12 IMP runners for the year. During this application process, everyone will have to do either a 3K run for the females or a 5K run for the males and have an interview with the head coach. During that interview, they get asked why. Why do you want to be part of this program? Why is it that you want to go to New York and run? Why do you want to put yourself through this whole program of running a marathon, 42.195 kilometres, when you're not a runner? And it's that answer that determines whether they become part of the program or not. Some of the people that come through this program are so inspiring. They come from backgrounds of domestic violence, of drug and alcohol abuse. Others just want to do something positive for themselves after having their children. Others see a real need for community change within their communities. They come from all walks of life, very remote communities such as Wyndham or Halls Creek in Western Australia, through to big cities like Sydney and Melbourne. The program is truly transformational, not just for the runners themselves, but for their communities. During this whole process, we look for leadership potential. The aim of the IMP effectively is to create leaders within communities. And we acknowledge that not all leadership comes from a position of leadership. Leadership can come from anywhere. And just because you wear a suit to work and get paid a lot of money doesn't make you a leader. What makes you a leader is the change that you can make within community and a change that you can make to yourself and everyone around you. So we don't lead in suits. We wear runners, we wear singlets, and we run. And we leave footprints, such as our logo, everywhere that we go. And it's those footprints, I think, that really make the difference. The footprints that you can follow in from an IMP graduate or as part of someone from the IMP are amazing. The simple act of putting one foot in front of another quicker than you can walk it's something that can be so inspiring. It's not something to take for granted. There's a lot of pain when you run a long way. There is a lot of push. You have to dig deep and find something that you are really passionate about, something that really drives you, that why that comes out in that very first interview question. If you don't have that purpose, then what are you running for? Everyone will run for some reason. Everyone will have a passion. Everyone will have something that they want to create change for. And that's what we're about finding out. Running can heal people. Running can heal communities. And through the Indigenous Marathon Foundation's projects, such as our Community Running and Walking program, our Indigenous Marathon project, we create change, we create communities, we create that opportunity to bring people together. And when we bring people together through the simple act of running, we can create meaningful change to societal issues, and those societal issues are tackled with empathy, they're tackled with compassion, and they're tackled together as a community. And that brings us back to that heart-based leadership that we're talking about tonight, that we'll hear from a very amazing panel a little bit later on. At the Indigenous Marathon Foundation, our motto is Run, Sweat, Inspire. Put a hashtag in front of that and it looks great on Twitter. So Run, Sweat, Inspire, and that's exactly what the IMP squad and myself as a IMP Indigenous Ambassador for this year will be doing this very weekend as we run 30 kilometres in Alice Springs. It's meant to get the 35 on Saturday. Luckily, we're starting at 5 a.m. in the morning in the dark, and we'll be going off on a 30K run as our last domestic home-based camp before running to New York. As the squad members cross that finish line in Alice Springs, 30 Ks after they started, they'll get their ticket to New York. Okay? Just because you start the program and you have that goal of finishing the New York City Marathon with 55,000 other people, it doesn't mean you actually get that chance. You have to earn it. There's a rigorous program. You have to commit to your education. You have to commit to the qualifications. Most of all, you have to commit to the running and being a good squad member. And when you do that, you get your ticket to New York. You get to go and run the world's best marathon, or biggest marathon. One of the other sayings we have in the IMP is that the finish line in Central Park is just the start line. When you return to your community is where you make the difference. The camp that they have after the marathon is the So What camp. Anyone can run a marathon if they really put their mind to it, but what are you going to do now that you've run that marathon? What is it that you're going to do? What was your why, and how are you going to follow through on your committed actions to create change within your community? And for me, that's what the true value of the IMP is. And throughout this year, I've connected with the squad at their first camp in Canberra, where they ran the 10-kilometre Mother's Day Classic. They came to my workplace, the University of Canberra, and had their first camp, and we heard from some of our experts in nutrition and other bits and pieces, and I can see that they wanted to learn. They wanted to make change. They wanted to be good runners. They wanted to be good role models in society. We then reconnected on the Gold Coast for the Gold Coast Marathon Festival, where they ran the 21.1 kilometre half marathon. And again, the squad, they click. It's like they've known each other for years. They keep opening up to each other and talking about their whys, their history, their values, and everything that makes them who they are, and details why they want to make change and what change they want to make. And look, if you go back 4 years ago, there was no way I was ever going to run a marathon. Like, I was a sporty kid. I've done some amazing things in sport, but I never thought running 42 kilometres non-stop was a good idea. Like, it sounds dumb. But there is only so many times you can hear Rob de Castella talk and the IMP graduates and their stories, and just see that even if it takes 6 hours just stumbling across that line, it's so inspirational. You just have to do it. And I'm sure that after you hear Rob and the other panellists speak later, you'll probably feel the same. And some of you might even get up in the morning and go for a run, which you might not ordinarily do. But really, what I wanted to say tonight was the foundation has changed so many lives. And it is a charity. It is a health promotion charity. Any support that can be offered is really appreciated. But ultimately, any support that you give, or any awareness raising, and just talking about the IMF or the IMP to anyone, and just raising awareness of the foundation can help so much. Because everything that we do is about creating positive change within Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and communities. And to finish off, I'm just going to say thank you to Rob de Castella for starting the foundation many, many years ago, and really making it his recent life's effort to create change. Thank you.